Hi everyone and welcome to one of the most requested videos on the channel, which is how to build your profile for MBA. Now there's a lot of ground to cover in this video, so I'll jump straight into it. In this video, I'm going to share some important facts that will help you understand which activities to pursue in order to build your profile. When you think of profile building, you must always also know what is your end goal because you don't build a profile for nothing. There must be something that you're aiming for. It could either be MBA interviews, like more specifically, let's discuss IIMs for this video, or it could be for MBA placements, that is, after you get into a B school, the placements that you sit for. Now, what do you think? Does it matter which of the two is your end goal? And do you think that the profile, whichever you're building, differs in both the cases? Actually, it does. And it's important to understand what your end goal is, and I'll explain why. Let's say that MBA interviews is your end goal. In that case, let's say you are preparing for IIM interviews. IIMs are not even going to ask for your CV. So the process is something like this. You have CAT, then there's a shortlist which gets announced. Then you are supposed to fill an interview form which is shared by the IIMs, and then you appear for the IIM interview. Now, in this entire process, nowhere are you going to be asked for your CV. It is only the interview form which is going to assess your skills. And even the interview form has some restrictions. For example, did you know that internships are not counted as work experience in this interview form? So you cannot write internships anywhere in your form. Secondly, when you're mentioning your extracurricular activities or your co-curricular activities, you have to specify the top three of the national or the state level. So if there's anything below that, it'll probably not even feature in your interview form. So one, there is no CV which is asked, and two, even if an interview form is shared, there are a lot of restrictions because of which most of the students who appear for these interviews are unable to write all their achievements or all their CV proofs in this interview form. So what this means is that essentially whatever is tested in the interview, and it is in the form of skills, things that are probably not going to require CV proofs. But let's say that your end goal was not MBA interviews and it was MBA placements. In that particular case, there is a proper CV vetting process which takes place for verifying your CV proofs against whatever you have mentioned in your CV. So, if your end goal is MBA interview, in that case, you can mention things which are either skills or you have CV proofs against them. So, let's say there's a particular activity that you've pursued and you have gained some skill out of it. Let's say an online course you have done on Coursera for which you did not have a certificate, but you have the knowledge after pursuing that activity. You can still mention it during your MBA interview, but you cannot do the same during an MBA placement interview. So, this is the entire difference, which is why I believe that if your end goal is MBA interview, then you should focus more on skills rather than on collecting CV proofs because they are anyway not going to be asked in the interview. Now, I will be sharing with you a couple of links in the description. They will be for both developing skills as well as for getting CV proofs. So, depending upon whatever your end goal or objective is, you can go through the links in the description. Apart from the links that I've shared in the description, there are a couple of other ways in which you can build your profile. So now I'm going to focus on them, and the way I'll be explaining them is by using a format of CV that we generally follow at IIMs. So if you look at the screen, this is how we divide the CV into different buckets. So the first one is scholastic, then we have workex, then position of responsibilities, and finally extracurriculars. Now I am going to tell you one by one which activities fall under which buckets. Like we'll start from the first one, which is the scholastic bucket. So here you have scholarship tests, you have olympiads, be it like at an undergrad level or at your school level. Then you have entrance tests like CAT, JEE, professional courses like CA, CFA, online courses that you, let's say, pursue on Coursera. Then your research papers, be it written with the help of a professor or on your own. Life projects that you pursue, let's say in collaboration with a particular organization, or you have independently pursued a life project. For example, I pursued a life project with BSc. So I surveyed the different indexes, and then I tried to create a financial report out of them. I shared this report with one of their financial analysts, who then further approached the chairman to get me a letter of recommendation. So this way you can also pursue an independent life project of your own. So out of these activities, before I got into an IIM, I had done the following. Like, I had scholarships, I had participated in Olympiads at my school level. Then I had some online courses, specifically in digital marketing. And finally, I had a live project that I already mentioned about. So this is what I did under this bucket. In the WorkX bucket, there are two simple things. It's either internships or it's work experience. Now, if you are a fresher and you don't have work experience, you don't have to worry about anything. I was also a fresher. In fact, 25% of the IIM Ahmedabad batch is generally freshers. So there's nothing to worry about. It doesn't go against you. You bring your own value to the table. Out of these two activities, like I mentioned, I had done a couple of internships. I think 3 or 4 internships before getting into IIM. If you are currently preparing for CAT, you don't have a lot of time. That's perfectly fine. Before getting into the IIM and after appearing for your CAT, you'll have some time left, like before the interview and after CAT. So that is when you can pursue an internship. It won't go against you. So that's WorkX bucket. In the POR bucket, which is positions of responsibility, you can be a member of a particular club in your school or in college. You can be a fest coordinator or an event organizer. So, event organizer means that you are not in charge of the entire fest, or you're not in the organizing team, but you're a part of a club or a society which is hosting a particular event within the fest. So, then you can also be an event organizer. You can be a placement coordinator. So, placement coordinator is different from a club member because it generally holds more value. You can be a campus ambassador for, let's say, an event being organized in your college or in some other college. You can also be a volunteer in an NGO, which holds a lot of value during interviews. You can also be a member of a student union, or let's say, in case of schools, you can be a head boy or a head girl. So, out of all these activities, the ones which have been highlighted in green were the ones that I pursued during my time before getting into the IIM. And moving on to the extracurriculars bucket. So, the first thing that comes to my mind is case study competitions, because that's what I pursued after getting into an IIM, not before. I'll be sharing a suggested video above. You can refer to it. It explains in detail how you can win these competitions even at an undergrad level. Then there are club events which you can be a part of. Then exhibitions, you might be like representing your school or college in some exhibition. Then you can get into sports or gaming. So gaming especially, because a lot of people are making it a trend these days. So you can definitely pursue that. Or you could be interested in performing arts, let's say dance, music, debating, quizzing, all of these activities. You can also be a part of a particular NGO, not as a POR, not as a responsibility, but you're just helping them out with something. Let's say that there's an event which is being organized around you, and you were just helping them around. So then you can also write it down in your extracurriculars. Or you might have an interesting hobby that you would want to share with the interviewers. For example, my hobby was to do ad analysis, and I used to write a lot about it on Quora. So you can refer to the suggested video again in case you want to build a particular hobby and you wish to also put it in your CV. So these are all the activities that I can think of under different buckets, which can help you build your profile. I also understand that this is a topic on which you might have a lot of questions to ask. So please feel free to ask all your questions in the comments below. I would be happy to take them up one by one. So this is all from my end in regards to MBA profile building. Let me know if you want any other video. I will definitely be making more videos specifically on internships and other topics. Stay tuned for them. Let me know. Thank you for watching the video.